What up, everybody? This is your boy Dedrian Cologne from House of Rasslin, and this is my review for the March 30th episode of AEW Dynamite. Like, share, comment, subscribe to House of Rasslin on all social media platforms, and follow me, Dedrian180, on TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram. Man, tonight's AEW Dynamite, the way it started, it felt very lethargic, but the way it ended, a complete 180. Man, polar opposites, but man, it was a fun show. A lot of answers tonight for questions that a lot of people had last week. But man, this was a pretty fun show considering the anticipation of former AEW wrestler Cody Rhodes debuting in WWE this Saturday. That's a whole nother topic. But yeah, this was a really good show. It was a really solid build to Rampage this Friday. There were subtle, very little hints to what could possibly happen at Ring of Honor. Ring of Honor Supercard this Friday as well. But no, this was a really, really fun show. The opening match was CM Punk versus Matt Caster. Of course, Max Caster, he had a Will Smith line. What was it? I'll smack you if you're smiling at me. You know, I'll be like Will Smith. I'll smack you if you're smiling at me, something like that. It was a funny wording that he used in his rap. But no, this match was, it just started off very lethargic. And mind you, this has nothing to do or is against CM Punk, Max Caster, or Anthony Bowens or anything. It's just something just didn't mesh. The match was decent and everything, but it was just, I wouldn't say it was them. It was the atmosphere, if you want to say. Like, it came across, he was like, man, it's just something's off. Like, just something's just, when is it gonna, like, click? Those of you who watch AEW Ramp or Dynamite, there is a flow when AEW's firing on all cylinders. There is an energy that's just boom, 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 boom. It's clicking. And it was just start off really slow, but no, this was a really good match. CM Punk won with the Anaconda Vice. Then the post match, he's talking with Tony Schiavone, and he talks about the gesture that he does around his waist. And he tells the fans, you guys know what that gesture is. And basically, he says, I will be world champion in AEW. So the wheels are already in motion as far as CM Punk wrestling for the AEW World Championship. I tweeted, I honestly anticipate it's going to be CM Punk and Adam Cole at Double or Nothing. I do feel that Adam Cole will win the world title at Battle of the Belts. For one reason, they need something major to come out of Battle of the Belts and just not have a special. And like the last one that they had was just very, the first Battle of Belts was just like, but this one I think is going to be really good. So yeah, CM Punk is going after the world title. I'm all for it. It's about time. He's been there for roughly almost 6 months? Almost? Yeah, August, September, October, November, December, January, February, March. No, 7 months. So that makes sense. It's about time for him to get into that picture, as well as Bryan Danielson, but we'll talk about that later. So yeah, you had that. Then you had a backstage segment with MJF and FTR. FTR basically tells MJF, they cut him off because he's like, don't mention Wardlow. And they're like, look, whatever's between, we like Wardlow. That's between Wardlow and you. We're not getting in the middle of it. You guys handle that. You can tell, even in spite of MJF saying the Pinnacle exists, you can tell that there is the FTR is like, they're slowly turning into baby faces, and the crowd is getting behind them. I think it's more so as me as well. I'm along those lines as well. They're such good wrestlers. Like, you want to get behind them. Even when they're heels, you're just like, man, these guys are just so good at wrestling. Like, man, this is so fun. So yeah, you had that segment. Later on, you had another segment which was also pretty good with the FTR. Then the next match was Jay Lethal versus John Moxley. This was a really solid match. This is where you can tell that the whatever was lethargic starting off in the show, like the energy, like it just started picking up. It was like, okay, now it's starting to, all right, there's starting to be a flow here. This was a pretty cool match. There was a crazy landing by Moxley. Jay Lethal was on the top rope, and Moxley tried to do a superplex, and Jay Lethal hit him in like the stomach, and Moxley like fell on the ropes and then flipped over. It was like, ooh, damn, hit his balls and his head. Damn. No pun intended. That's actually funny. Then you had a clothesline and like a double clothesline and crossbody where both these guys were just like laid out, which I thought was a pretty cool spot. Moxley wins with a variation of a roll up. Jay Lethal, yeah, this guy's going to be turning heel. Like, you can see it. Like, he hinted towards it last week as far as he's frustrated. There's two people I got to get ahead. You can tell they're positioning him as going to position him as a heel, which I have no problem with it. It's hard to get behind Jay Lethal as a face if he's not, for me, if he's not doing the Macho Man gimmick, which that's what he's known for. Also, it's just, there's a lot of stuff with Jay Lethal that a lot of fans like just have their reservations for, which rightfully, hey, I understand why they have those reservations. Me as well is just like, he's a good wrestler, but yeah, there's some, just keep it at a distance. From there, we get a video package. Now, this is something that I really like what AEW did. Marina Sheriff. Marina Shafir. Forgive me, guys. She's actually the wife of Roderick Strong. They did a really good video package for her. They showed a lot of her matches on AEW Dark, which we've been saying for the longest. Like, you have these people have these banger matches and just, the stuff that's happening on Dark and Elevation, you need to showcase it on Dynamite so there is a form of continuity where it's like, oh man, I need to check out Dark and Elevation. Now they're starting to do it. Thank God. But now this is a really good package. I'm excited to see how they're going to use her. She's also mentioned later on in a segment, which I'll get to, but this is a really good package. Then we have FTR versus the Gun Club with MJF on commentary. And this was a solid match. You could tell the Gun Club in a few spots, they rushed a few things. There was a spot where Colton Gunn went for the leaping tag, and like, he didn't leap where he landed on the mat. Like, he leaped and landed on the turnbuckle and then fell out the ring, which is hilarious. There was a point where Billy Gunn like just knocked the hell out of was it Cash Wheeler, just knocked it. It was like, damn, and that was a good punch that Billy Gunn threw at him. From there, you had it was just a great fluidity. Like, you can tell FTR was in their element of like just performing and just putting on a good wrestling match. The crowd was behind them. Shout out to FTR for the NWO Scott Hall attire that they had. That was pretty cool. So as this match is going on, freaking Wardlow comes out of nowhere. Like, he comes through, I think, a mezzanine section or something like that outside, and he just like, the first guy that he came across, first security guard, like, he flung him over the garbage can. Like, he missed that. Then he powerbombed a security guard on a table. The table didn't break. I felt sorry for that guy. I was like, damn, that hurts. And he just starts making his way to the arena. He points at MJF. MJF points at him. He needs to get out of here. He doesn't work here. He doesn't belong here. There's just this huge commotion. He's trying to get to the ring. It took, maybe 9 to 12 security guards to get Wardlow in the back. That crowd erupted when Wardlow came to the ring. For me, that's when this show just boom. It just clicked. Like that was the match. Like they had the gasoline and the match just it just caught on fire. And from there, it was just the show just didn't drop or anything. It was a really solid show from this point. But yeah, MJF Wardlow. What I do like about this match is FTR, they did win the match. There was a lot of FTR chants. So going back to the beginning of the show when they had the FTR MJF segment, again, this match just adds on like, okay, they're turning babyface. And then afterwards, MJF gets into the ring and Dax Hardwood is like, no, that's your problem. Don't put your stuff in our business, in our matches. And Cash Wheeler saying the same thing. So they swipe, Dax Hardwood swipes MJF's hand. MJF's like, no, we're brotherhood. And he raises their hand. So there's some tension there. Like, I'm really curious to know what's going to happen. Is MJF going to start a new pinnacle? Or is he going to go on his own? Like, this is going to be very interesting how this plays out. A lot of questions. A lot of various answers that could be answered and everything, and it could go in different directions. But this is pretty cool. Good job by AEW for just okay. What's gonna happen with Wardlow and MJF? What's gonna happen with FTR? Is FTR like? These are the questions you want to have surrounding a story that keep people interested. Not, oh my God, why did they do that stupid thing? That's the 180 of oh man, where's this gonna go? Really good moment there. Then we get a promo of Powerhouse Hobbs, and he's talking about Keith Lee. So this Friday on AEW Rampage, the main event is going to be Powerhouse Hobbs and Keith Lee. Oh, damn. I can't wait for that. Actually, I can't wait for that. I'm joking. There you have AEW Rampage, you have SmackDown, you have multiverse matches, and you have Supercard of Honor. I will be doing reviews for that. That's why I'm like, I can wait on it. It's going to be a long night for me, but I will get that review. But I'm looking forward to that Hobbs Keith Lee match. I mean, the first time they had their first, backstage interaction with Ricky Starks and Keith Lee. It's like, I can't wait for that match. And I'm surprised that AEW is doing it right now. I know if people are like, man, they got to build it up and everything. But the way AEW is and just how deep they are as far as talent, you can do it now, and then later on it can mean something, which we'll see where it goes. But I'm looking forward to that match. Then we get a backstage segment with the Jericho Appreciation Society. This was cool because it's funny because I remember one podcast, or one or two or three. Actually, there was at least 3 podcasts that I watched on YouTube that mentioned, like, man, it would have been cool if when JAS, Jericho Appreciation Society, when they were looking through the back curtains, like, man, it would have been cool if Eddie Kingston, the Proud and Powerful were there, and they just beat him up. So we get to them backstage, and one of the 2.0, I'm going to call him by his original name because I don't know what the hell his new name is because it's long, and I don't know why they changed it. So he looks, he's like, oh, there's nobody here. And then Jake Hager, they're like, you know what, see over there, see if they're there. They open it. Eddie Kingston, Santana and Ortiz, they're there. They just start beating the hell out of everybody. They just fight to the ring. They're just chairs, everything. Eventually, JAS, they get the upper hand. It's basically 3-on-5. So, of course, on the server's like, oh man, it's 3-on-5. What's going to happen? A lot of people, including myself, are like, okay, who are going to be the 2 guys that even the odds? Again, another good element, another good wrinkle to how this is going to play out. Okay, who's the 2 guys that's going to help LAX and Eddie Kingston against JAS, Jericho Appreciation Society? Like, who are going to be the 2 guys? I know 2 guys that come to mind is Conan's 5150 crew in MLW, Danny Limelight and Slice Boogie. That would be pretty dope because Danny Limelight, ever since he joined MLW, he's taken his character to another level. It'd be cool for him to come back and people see him like, yo, that's the dude from MLW that's like tearing it up, and from New Japan, that's, man, he's killing it. So that's going to be interesting how this plays out going forward. Like, who are going to be the two guys that are going to help Eddie Kingston and Santana Ortiz against Jericho Appreciation Society. So from there, we get a backstage segment with Jade Cargill. Was it Mark Sterling? He tells her, yeah, here's her new opponent, and he brings in Leva Bates. And Jade Cargill's like, what the hell? I'm not serious. Like, my 30th win is going to mean something. Who's my opponent? And Tony Schiavone, I think, was it Tony Schiavone or Alex Marvez? So they announced that her next opponent is going to be Marina Shafir. That's going to be a really good match. This is a good match for Jade Cargill for the fact that, like, Marina Shafir, she can wrestle. Like, she can wrestle. I wouldn't mind seeing the match between her and Serena Deeb. That would be awesome. This is going to be a really good match. This is going to be probably Jade Cargill's first test as far as who can beat her and beat her undefeated streak. So that's going to be interesting. I believe that's going to be on next Dynamite. Not this Rampage, but next week's Dynamite. That's going to be pretty good. Jade Cargill did have her baddies in the front row, which, good job, Jade Cargill. Not complaining. From there, we get the Bryan Danielson Wheeler Yuta match. I would have said this was the match of the night if it wasn't for the main event. This match, these guys beat the hell out of each other. Man, Wheeler Yuta, I mean, it was technical. There was a lot of reversals, stuff that I didn't expect Wheeler Yuta to utilize and implement in the match. There's a lot of chops. I mean, there was so many chops that Wheeler Yuta's chest was like already red. Both men were very fiery and feisty, and just the physicality was there. Bryan Danielson, man, that move where he grabs their arms and he just kicks the hell out of them. Oh my goodness, man. Whew. Man, that is so vicious. I cringe because it just looks like he's like, I hope you don't break their neck. Like, damn, that's hard. But yeah, Wheeler Yuta, man, he showed moments of and glimpses of like being on like just that fire and just fighting back. You can tell he's gone to another level since they took him away from the best friends, and like he's just at that next level where just like, man, this guy, he can go. William Regal was on commentary and he was complimenting. He's like, I'm impressed with Wheeler Yuta. I see something here with this guy. So that was really cool. Then we get a video package hyping up the Darby Allin and Andrade match for the main event. Really good pay-per-view video. Hyping up this match, showcasing Andrade and Darby Allin. I like what they've been doing with Andrade lately, man. It's been really, really good. From there, we get a promo with Adam Cole and Redragon. They all come out with the titles. So Adam Cole comes out with the AEW World title, and Redragon comes out with the tag team titles. This was funny. Adam Cole, he basically breaks down like, hey, we didn't steal it. We easily took it. He mentions AEW, it's time for a new era in AEW, a new crew to run this. I totally agree. I like it. I do think this is a subtle preview of what we're possibly going to see next month. I believe Battle of the Belts is next month. I honestly think this is going to be the preview of what we're going to see going forward with Adam Cole and Redragon, which I'm all for it because AEW, in spite, like, Hangman Page has had really good matches, but it just feels like it. Maybe if he gets a second run, it'd be good, but it just felt like his title run like came not at the right time because like his title reign came like that was November, like 2 months after Adam Cole, CM Punk, and Bryan Danielson debuted, and it was like so much momentum where it's like, okay, Kenny Omega can go here, but it was just really weird. Not to take away from his reign, it's been good, but it was just really weird. Where if it wasn't for CM Punk, Adam Cole, and Bryan Danielson debuting, maybe it would have translated a little bit differently because it was just a lot of things that just didn't like. It was like it fit, but it was like okay. But yeah, they start mocking Hangman and Jurassic Express. Hangman Page comes into the arena driving a Tulsa vehicle car with horns. It reminded me of JBL when he did it back in the day. He comes out, he just starts beating the hell out of them. Adam Cole and Jurassic Express, or Adam Cole and Redragon, they leave. Then you get Jurassic Express and Christian Cage. They beat the hell out of them. They get their belts. They leave. Battle of the Belts. I think all those titles are changing. And I think Christian Cage is going to turn on Jurassic Express. I really do think that's going to happen. If you know Christian Cage's history, he fits more Adam Cole and Redragon. Like, he fits them. His sense of humor, his sarcasm, his sneakiness when he was a heel. Like, Christian Cage fits more with the Adam Cole and Redragon. From there, we get a promo from Thunder Rosa. She's basically talking about, she's replying to Nyla Rose, and she basically sends the message that she wants to be the face of women's wrestling, not AEW women's division, but women's wrestling, which was a really good promo. It was really fiery. She got to the point, and it's going to be interesting. It's actually going to be really good because she's going to put on some really good matches. I think with her reign that's going to be different from Britt Baker's, is that Britt Baker's her reign was to establish her as a major women's wrestler in AEW. Thunder Rosa's title reign, and you could see it already where it's shaping up, is going to establish the women's wrestling in AEW. Like, this is going to be the person that's going to establish, okay, AEW's women's wrestling is taking off, and they put on some really good matches, and there's going to be some real good stuff that we're going to see from the women's division, which I can't wait, because there's a lot of good women's wrestlers, and I keep saying it, put them with factions, have two women's matches, one in 1 hour, one in the second hour. That's all you need. Or put it on Rampage. Like, you could do 3 women's matches a week. Like, you can do this. Like, utilize them. From there, we get backstage with FTR, and they basically get to the point where they're like, you know what, Young Bucks, how about part 2? Let's see who's the best tag team. So we're going to get Young Bucks versus FTR eventually. I can't wait. The first match was okay, but I think now, because these guys have been in AEW for a while, we're going to get some really good stuff. Then we get the Owen Hart tournament qualifier. So the Buddy comes out, and, of course, Tony Khan tweeted that, there's going to be a new signee in the women's division. Music hits, the video hits, and it's Toni Storm. Yes, Toni Storm, originally from WWE NXT, who got called up and had milk thrown her on Charlotte Flair. She is in AEW. She looked good. Not only in the ring, but you could tell that she's been working out, getting in shape. Not that she wasn't in shape, but you can tell, like, okay, girl's going to go on a run here. This is good. Her presentation, her looked really good. She looked different from what the other women's wrestlers on AEW, are presented. It was a really good match, really hard hitting. The Bunny has underratedly put on some really good matches. But this match with Toni Storm was really good. Toni Storm wins. She's moving on. I'm looking forward to how this is going to play out, how they're going to use her, who she's going to align with. Of course, she's engaged to Juice Robinson from New Japan Pro Wrestling. How is that going to play out? Seeing that he's been in Impact Wrestling, is he going to debut? Is he going to come to AEW pretty soon? That's the thing. A lot outside of WrestleMania, and I know this week there's a lot of hype with WrestleMania. I think people are underestimating and forget that next month it's going to be a lot of stuff with AEW, New Japan, and Impact, because Tony Khan talked about it weeks ago that the Forbidden Door, we're eventually going to go through it again. And I think people are sleeping on it with, everything that's happened with WrestleMania and stuff like that. I think a lot of people are sleeping on what he mentioned a few weeks back as far as the Forbidden Door. Like, keep an eye out. And I'm actually looking forward to that New Japan Windy City Riot show, which I'm going to next month. There's a lot of stuff that's going to happen there. So from there, we get a backstage segment with Nyla Rose. And all I'm going to say is Nyla Rose does not need Vicky Guerrero, for the simple fact she looks in the camera and she's like paraphrasing, "Oh, I'm a magician," and she just utters the phrase "abracadabra, bitch." She don't need she don't need Vicky Guerrero. Leave her by herself. And honestly, Nyla Rose needs a face turn. If you've watched her in a few vlogs and on Twitter, they need to turn her face. I think it's to the point where, like, you just have to turn her face, because it's just her being the obstacle, and the heel. It's like, it's overkill now. Like, it's not like, oh wow, she's a pillar here. It's like, okay, now you need to freshen it up. And then we get to the main event: Darby Allin versus Andrade. Holy shit, this match was amazing. I tweeted this. The Andrade that we have been seeing for the past few weeks is the Andrade El Idolo that was NXT champion a few years ago. The guy put on a banger match. Darby Allin got his ass kicked in this match. Like, he got beat like a rag doll in this match. As soon as Darby came to the ring, like, normally, if Darby's in the ring and the person's coming out, he just slingshots. Andrade he just knocked him. It's like, damn. There was a power suplex that Andrade did on top of the the guardrail. Like, he was just picking him up and tossing. Like, man, this was a physical match. He suplexed him onto the stairs that were. Where's my staircase at? Oh, it's right here. So the staircase was like this, and he hit Darby, boop, on that. Like, that was insane. Yes, this is like my collection back here. You had that. There was a point where he suplexed Darby or did some type of move. It looked like Darby hit face first onto the mat. It was like, damn, is his nose busted or what have you? Then there was a point where they were just slap boxing. Darby dove on the outside, like he just flew. This match, I will tell you, go watch. You're gonna enjoy this match, because this was a fight. And man, I know Scorpio Sky has a TNT title. I wish they would just dive more into the rankings and get more grit and more angst from people that are like, hey, I want to get ranked. They have it at 5. That's the only thing that I wish AEW would really. One of the few things that I wish they would really improve on is just let, like, these wrestlers that are ranked show more grit and angst. Like, man, I'm tired of being number 5. I'm tired of being overlooked. Like, I want to be champion, because it seems like whoever's the freaking champion gets more TV time. I want to be on TV. And I think that's the missing thing with a lot of AEW storylines when it comes to the title match, that they're already 2 years old. And if a lot of these wrestlers are missing this in their promos, where they're, I want to fight the title, it's like, no, this is 2 years. Anybody who is a champion on AEW gets TV time. If you are not a champion, you have to fight to get TV time. That's what needs to be addressed. But no, this match was a banger. It looked like Darby was going to win. And Andrade, man, what move did he do? He did power. Well, there was a point in the match where Andrade had Darby in like a razor's edge, and Darby Allin reversed it into the, what was it, the Code Red, which is a Canadian destroyer. But like it was like, damn. But eventually Andrade did his finisher and pinned him 1, 2, 3. Darby Allin loses. Andrade wins. All of the Andrade family office come out and celebrate. Then they start beating up Sting and Darby, and they're just beating them up. And then the music hits of the Hardy's Boys. That crowd went apeshit. Like, they went loud. And Jeff and Matt, they're beating each other up. I think it was Quinn, Mark Quinn. He was there, and Jeff did the swanton on him. That was to close the show. The crowd was just loud. The music, the Hardy's music and everything, that was cool. Again, this was a complete 180 to how the show started. Again, this has nothing. This isn't a swipe against CM Punk and Max Caster. It's just something like, it was just very slow. It was a slow build, but now looking back, you know what? I don't think it was a bad thing, because this was one of the first AEW shows where like it built to the main event. There has been AEW shows where they have, the main event, like the first match is hot and then it just cools out through the night, or like the second match is hot and then it cools off, then it goes up and then it just cools off, or everything's just cool, and then it just heats up in the main event. But no, this was a fun AEW Dynamite episode. I'm looking forward to Rampage. Man, there's just a lot of stuff with AEW going forward, especially after this week. We'll see it's interesting, especially with the Cody Rhodes anticipation arriving at WrestleMania, and just how AEW is. One, I commend them for. I don't think they're gonna do it. Thank God they didn't. Throw shots, or just be petty or overbook or try to counter book WrestleMania or anything like that. They're sticking to their guns, and they're just, hey, this is a story that AEW tells, and hey, if WWE wants to do that, hey, that's cool. I like that, because they're not overbooking, and they're not doing a WCW, which WCW was notorious for trying to counter book WWE programming. But I commend AEW and Tony Khan for not doing that, especially knowing that they have Rampage and they have Ring of Honor's Supercard of Honor this Friday. So smart on Tony Khan for doing that. But yeah, this was a really good AEW Dynamite show. Check out the Darby Allin Andrade match. Tony Storm's debut. Man, this was just a pretty solid show, man. It was a fun show. I know there'll be some critics to a few things, but overall, man, this was a fun show, man. I enjoyed it. But yeah, that is my review for the March 30th episode of AEW Dynamite. Like, share, comment, subscribe, follow, give us a thumbs up on YouTube, and all social media platforms. Follow me, Dedrian180, on TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram. Man, this was fun, and I'm looking forward to the other wrestling that's going to happen this weekend. There's at least 8 shows that I'm going to be covering. I know Impact I'm going to cover tomorrow, and then I'm going to be recovering all weekend. But thank you guys. Thank you to the new subscribers. Hope you guys enjoy this channel. I got 2 videos dropping in the next couple of days. Be on the lookout for that. They're dream matches. Let you go. But man, this was a fun AEW Dynamite. Man, I enjoyed it. But like I always say, stop fighting over wrestling. Why? Because there's freaking 8 shows this weekend. There's a variety here. If you don't like one thing, you have a choice this weekend. And that's not including the GCW and all the other wrestling shows that are happening this week. Just enjoy. All right. With that,